Looking into a house fire that took the lives of four little girls November 21st, 2016 in Flora, Indiana, leaving their mother Galen Rose with no children, burns to her own body, including her corneas, and smoke in her throat. Well, it was discovered that the duplex that Miss Rose rented was appraised at $45,000. However, it was insured for almost $400,000. How does that happen? Well, I'm going to explain it to you, but I need you to be patient and to pay attention because, see, some crimes are very, very simple to understand. A person walks into a gas station, pulls out a gun, and demands that the cashier give them money. But other crimes like fraud, well, can be more of an intellectual nature. And the culprit depends on people being bored and disinterested. And that's how the crime goes unsolved. Am I being bold by calling what I'm about to describe to you a crime? Perhaps. However, it is important to note that once Homeland Security got involved in this case, that the fire that happened in that two-story, two-bedroom duplex went from undetermined to arson. That duplex was intentionally set on fire. An accelerant was found in the kitchen area. At the center of this video, once again, is former city councilman, second generation city councilman of Flora, Indiana, Joshua Ayers. Joshua Ayers, along with Troy Helderman, created Birch Tree Holdings, which purchased the now destroyed duplex that went up in flames. Joshua Ayers and Troy Helderman were the landlords to Galen Rose after she rented that property for $500 a month. Joshua Ayers attempted to indirectly insure the duplex at 103 East Columbia Street, and he did that through his own homeowner's insurance of his personal residence, 220 South Willow Street in Flora, Indiana. Joshua and Melissa Ayers are the named insureds of the homeowner's policy at 220 South Willow Street, and they purchased two properties, one from property owners, which issued the homeowner's insurance policy, and then the two purchased the executive umbrella insurance policy from owner's insurance. And umbrella insurance is a type of insurance that will come through and pay whatever the homeowner's insurance does not pay. So after the homeowner's insurance pays out all that it's going to pay out, then owner's insurance would come through with the executive umbrella insurance policy and pay the rest. And the type of insurance that Joshua and Melissa Ayers purchased was liability insurance. And liability insurance would cover certain types of personal injury, bodily injury. Joshua Ayers expected, or rather hoped, that these two insurance policies would also cover bodily injury eventually to Galen Rose and damages for wrongful death for her four little girls that died in that house fire November 21st, 2016. So, Galen Rose filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Birch Tree Holdings May 18th, 2018. And in April 2019, the two insurance companies filed its own lawsuit naming Joshua Ayers, Melissa Ayers, and Galen Rose as defendants. Now, the attorneys for the insurance companies make it clear in the lawsuit that Galen Rose and Melissa Ayers were named only to protect and or assert their potential rights in any liability that may or may not be paid out by these insurance companies. Now, there's about a year in between Galen Rose's filing her lawsuit for wrongful death and the two insurance companies filing its lawsuit naming Ayers, Josh and Melissa, and Galen Rose as defendants. However, that insurance company, Property Owners, was during that time defending Joshua Ayers against Galen Rose's wrongful death lawsuit. How is that possible when Josh Ayers insured his personal residence, 220 South Willow Street, not 103 East Columbia Street, where the fire happened and where Galen Rose was injured and where her daughters died. Now, take note, even though property owners was defending Josh Ayers in that lawsuit, they did it under something called a reservation of rights. An insurance company invokes a reservation of rights via a letter, and the reservation of rights letter from property owners is dated March 27, 2019. And what that means is that even though it was currently defending Joshua Ayers against Galen Rose's lawsuit, that it could decide, depending on what an investigation brought to the surface, to not indemnify heirs against any damages that Rose would be awarded, meaning that property owners could deny coverage based on facts developed during the investigation. And the lawsuit that the insurance company filed, well, it looked as though it planned to do just that. Property owners insurance and owner's insurance. Owner's insurance would have only kicked in to pay what property owners insurance did not cover. So property owners and owner's insurance in its lawsuit said that the residence 103 East Columbia Street is not anywhere in the policies that it issued to Joshua Ayers, that the only residence listed in those two insurance policies is 220 South Willow Street. Now, see, there's a little bit of a gray area, or Ayers tried to make it a gray area, because the homeowner's insurance policy said that it would also cover personal injury and bodily injury to another building or another structure owned by the named insurers, Josh Ayers and Melissa Ayers. However, that other place, residence, building, whatever, could not be a rental property. In fact, covering a rental property is a specific exclusion in both insurance policies. And like the insurance company said, it had no knowledge, either one of them, of 103 East Columbia Street, because that property is not mentioned in either policy. However, Josh Ayers probably thought that because it would cover a building or residence he owned that was connected to his own home, that he could probably get the insurance companies to cover that fire at 103 East Columbia. The insurance company said that not only does it exclude specifically rental properties, that the type of personal injury that it covers would not include wrongful death, and it would not ever include a property where there were non-functional electrical outlets in the kitchen, where there were doors that would not lock. Finally, the insurance company said that if it did pay out any liability insurance for these damages, that it would not go to Joshua Ayers, because Joshua Ayers, the individual, did not own the duplex on East Columbia, that Birch Tree Holdings owned that duplex. And as controversial as it is in this country, we do know that a business is not only a business entity, but it is considered a person. So in short, the two insurance companies fought back, saying that it insured Joshua Ayers' personal residence at 220 South Willow Street, that it did not insure any rental property, and that it did not have a named insured called Birch Tree Holdings. So that is how Joshua Ayers got a $400,000 insurance policy. He got it on his own personal residence, and he tried to use the rental property where the four little girls lost their lives as a property connected to his personal residence. And currently, there are no named suspects as to who set that two-story, two-bedroom duplex on fire, taking the lives of 4 children. And Joshua Ayers, in my opinion, he tried to insure his rental property through fraud. So if you're still with me, do me a favor, hit the like button and drop me a comment. Tell me what you think.